Why are foreign investors and foreign countries taking more of an interest in American farmland recently when compared to the last 50 years? A lot of people will say to me when I bring this up that this has been going on forever. Foreign countries have always been buying up American farmland. I have some statistics and graphs to show you in this video that prove that is not necessarily the case, or it's not necessarily the case when you compare how actively they have been buying our farmland between 2016 and now when compared to all prior years. It's no secret that American farmland is an excellent and reliable investment to hold. It's why I come on here and talk to you guys about it all the time. Historically, buying land and holding land will appreciate in value over time, much like buying a stock from the stock market if you hold it for long enough. They're not making any more land. The finite amount of land is what ensures its value will appreciate in time. There is only so much for us all to buy and invest in. So I did a little digging to learn more about why these foreign investors are snatching up our farmland so passionately in the last decade when compared to prior decades. The first reason being, and you guys know because I get on here and scream about it all the time, is because we are living through one of the largest wealth transfers of our lifetimes in this country. You and I will never live through a larger wealth transfer. That wealth transfer is in the form of farmland. How do I know this? The 2025 Farmers Almanac first reported on it about a year and a half ago. They said $24 trillion worth of farmland, farming assets, farmhouses will transfer hands over the next 20 years. This kicked off last year. So we have 18 years left of this wealth transfer. If you're saying to yourself, why is so much farmland changing hands? It has to do with age. The average age of the American farmer is over 60, which means over the next 20 years, they will either pass on, transfer their assets, or sell. I can tell you, I was at a solar farms hearing last night in a town over from mine. There were about 50 people in attendance, and I would say around 95% of the people in that room were over the age of 65. It's an alarming thing because the majority of our farmland, the majority of people growing our food are not going to be in possession of that farmland or growing that food in the next 2 decades, which means we need young people, crazy people like me to come out here and buy some of this acreage and attempt to either learn farming or get into the business of growing our food from a food autonomy point of view. The issue is while this land is transferring hands, some people are a little more astute, they're a little more on top of it than the everyday person who might not be aware this is occurring while they go into their job. These foreign investors are aware that this farmland is for sale. So over the last 10 years, the amount of foreign investment activity that has gone on in buying our farmland has increased by 40% just between 2016 and 2021. I'm going to throw some graphs on the screen to show you guys how much more active these foreign investors have been in buying our farmland in just the last 10 years. At the end of 2023, it was reported around 45 million acres of farmland, rural land in the United States was owned by foreign investors. And you might be saying to yourself, oh, well, that's only 2, 3, 4% of the available arable land in our country. What's the big deal? The big deal is when you consider that since 2010, 20 million of those acres have been added to the foreign investment portfolios. That's almost a 50% increase since 2010 and the amount of activity that is going on with buying up our very desirable farmland. When I did even further digging into why this is happening, I understand it's a good investment. I know our farmland is for sale. It is very much for sale right now and will be for the next 20 years. But when I looked into what these big land sales to foreign companies, foreign investors was for, it showed me, not to my surprise, it was for solar and wind projects and licenses that they have taken out with different states in our country that are trying to meet these invisible renewable energy, green energy targets by 2030. Our country, our government, our politicians essentially are selling our land to foreign countries for them to come in, destroy the land with solar panels and wind turbines, and collect money, credits, tax credits, all sorts of things from their green programs that are in place between 2030 and 2040 for all sorts of different made-up things that they've come up with, going carbon neutral, making sure there's no emissions, all of these things that sound great in theory until you're boots on the ground with it like I am here in upstate New York, seeing what this type of rapid green target initiative being applied is actually doing to the environment. Spoiler alert, it's destroying it, and it's being done at an unsustainable pace. I call this an experiment. So many of these solar farms and wind farms have to be decommissioned in only a few years because the technology becomes obsolete, or they don't exactly generate the energy that they promised they would generate. They don't come anywhere close to comparing to nuclear energy or different ways that we have available to us to generate this power without putting hundreds and hundreds of acres of dystopian inventions all over the land that fed us and, more importantly, supported the animals and habitat that create the ecosystems around us that need to be intact for us to be fed. Those pollinators out your window, those bees and butterflies that people pay no attention to, are the reason there is food on your plate. So when you start to mess with these ecosystems, you start to mess with the greater picture of what's going to happen to our food, what's going to happen to where the food comes from, what's going to happen to the land that grows our food and supports the animals that make our food possible. Before I dive into the solutions portion of this video in the second half as to how you can get your hands on some of this acreage that is for sale, or at least speak to your town about keeping an eye out for these foreign investors that are swooping in and snatching up our arable, God-given right American farmland. If you guys plan to be outside this year gardening, helping the pollinators, running around, teaching yourself how to farm and grow food like I'm doing here, you're gonna need some versatile, multifaceted tools that are all in one that make something like running a farm by yourself possible. That's what I'm doing here on my 6.74 acres. We have all sorts of weather here in upstate New York. You can probably hear right now we're just having our normal 30-mile-per-hour winds. That's how you know autumn is here. Pretty soon we're gonna have blizzards, we have hail, we have freezing ice, we have rainstorms, we have it all. And I need to have technology that can be outside with me and withstand the elements so that I'm able to see what I am doing, look up things in the moment. I'm having to make sure that I understand soil biology and all those things. I'm trying to learn it very quickly. I need to have technology by my side that makes that type of learning in the elements seamless for me. And that is where HOTWAV comes into the picture, equipped with a stylus and a leather strap, as well as a stand if you want to prop it up outside in the garden while you are trying to get things done. And that's where the HOTWAV R9 Ultra 5G tablet comes in. It's waterproof, dustproof, and drop resistant. It also features a massive 20,080 milliamp battery, a super camping light, and a 20 megapixel night vision camera, making it an outstanding companion for the outdoors. It's more than just a rugged device. The HOTWAV R9 Ultra 5G is also built for everyday use with an 11-inch 2K class display running at 120 Hertz, a 6 nanometer 5G octa-core processor, up to 24 gigabytes of memory, and 512 gigabytes of internal storage. It runs on Android 15, supports dual 5G nano SIM cards, and even comes with a stylus pen for added convenience and creative possibilities. The aluminum kickstand makes it easy to carry or prop up, while the optional leather strap offers another practical way to take it with you on the go. Check out the Amazon sale for HOTWAV going on October 21st to the 30th. The beauty of our country is that no two towns were created the same, which means every town is capable of putting either into its charter or passing legislation that makes it more difficult for foreign investors to come in and snatch up your very arable farmland that needs to go to the younger generations that are going to have to steward it, take care of it, and work it to feed future populations. As I said to the farmers I met last night, think about the world you are leaving your kids and your grandkids. I understand the checks available through these solar companies, which are not American. The solar company that wants to develop the land near my farm, 750 acres of grassland, comes straight out of Canada. It's not even an American company. The panels are manufactured in China. Nothing about this is America first or America forward, yet our American politicians have bought right into it to meet their green scam initiatives. So your town is capable of passing legislation that makes foreign interest illegal. I actually saw the state of Texas did this, I believe, on a statewide scale. They made it so that foreign investors are not allowed to buy up available acreage, rural land in the state of Texas. I don't have hope for that happening in a state like New York, if you know what I mean, but I do have hope in our different municipalities. My town of Saratoga here passed legislation just 2 months ago that makes it very difficult for companies to come in and set up massive solar farms where we're talking hundreds of acres of land that are being put towards one huge eyesore, hideous setup that breaks up migrations and kills all the animals in and around it. No, I'm not talking agrovoltaics. These people aren't interested in agrovoltaics. I'm convinced they came up with that phrase to make this sound utopian so that people get on board with the future. You guys know I'm pro-future. That's why I'm yelling at my phone outside right now. I like technology. I post on social media every day. I have no problem with progressive technology. I have a problem with what these foreign investors are doing when they come to our land. They are not respecting it in the way that the people who are here or the people who were here before us respect the land that we are standing on. It's just an investment to them. And that's exactly how they are treating this land, as a means to an end for them to collect that green energy money, credits, and taxes from the dirty politicians that have promised it to them if they come in and set up something that looks renewable. Step one for making changes with this: go to your town planning board meetings, go to the special board meetings, go to the regular board meetings. There are all sorts of board meetings happening in your town. You might not even be aware of it. You can find it on your town website. They will post when the meetings happen every month. Usually each board will meet once a month. They are open to the public. You are welcome to attend and voice your concerns and get to know the board members and discuss with them, putting in protections of some kind that make sure that this land, as it gets passed on to future generations, is passed on to Americans. It is so critical, as I've said many times in this video, for this to happen. Step two, you can buy this land before these foreign investors get to it. I bought the land you see behind me. I'm going to link to so many videos and articles that I've drafted that hopefully make this process simple and easy for you guys. If you are thinking about buying farmland in the traditional loan route, I cannot recommend Farm Credit enough. No, I am not sponsored by them. I just had such a great experience with them, and they currently hold the loan to the land you see behind me, and I didn't need prior farming experience for it. There are also loans through the USDA. However, the USDA has different types of programs that typically require prior farming experience, or for you to at least enter into some type of mentorship, apprenticeship program to, I think, provide a guarantee to them that you're going to actually farm or know what you're going to be doing with the land. There are also so many other unconventional ways to buy this land, which I am breaking down every week. There's even crowdfunding on GoFundMe or Kickstarter, setting up a crowdfund. People will be interested if you're going to organically farm or steward land or save it from a solar farm owned by somebody in Canada. You would be surprised who may throw some money behind your plan, your campaign to get out there and stop them. Tiny spoiler alert, I am in the process of filing my very own nonprofit, which you can bet I will be telling you guys about on here when it becomes official. I just can't say anything yet. But from the nonprofit route, you guys have to know there are nonprofits set up in our country whose sole mission and purpose is to make sure that currently interested future young farmers can get their hands on this land as it passes from the aging farmer to new generations. So for me here in Saratoga County, that's Saratoga Plan, but then there's also the Agricultural Stewardship Association that manages the two counties over from mine. What they do is they come in to available land and they buy the developmental rights from the owner. They pay them out in cash immediately. So if your farm is worth $1 million, your developmental rights, according to them, are usually about 50% of that property. They will pay you $500K in cash. They will raise that money, fundraise it through their donor networks. You will be paid $500,000 by committing that you will never develop the land and change it from either being farmland or conservation grassland. This is an incredible alternative to the farmers that need the cash now because the taxes are too much. Running farms are very expensive. I am sympathetic to the plight of the farmer. As I said to the room of farmers last night, please consider buying an easement instead of handing your land over to these solar companies that are foreign. They are not American solar companies, and none of the products they're about to move in, including the transformers, the roadways, the fences, all of it, none of it is even American manufactured. That's about to go on your land, and think about the legacy you're going to leave the people after you by doing something like that. Every county, every region across the United States has a land trust like that. So please look up one wherever you are located. I promise you they are going to help you find land if you're interested in buying it. They're going to connect you with these aging farmers who may want to apprentice you. In some cases, the farmer may just hand the farm over upon their death to you because they actually care about what happens to their land, or the farmers can agree to an easement of some kind to receive the payment that they need quickly. And that is what happens in the world of farming. Our country is not fair to farmers financially, and sometimes they need money fast. Tell them, please do not sell this land. Please do not rent it over to foreign countries when these easements are American held, American made, and held by nonprofits. They're not even held by the government. We need more aging farmers to know about this, and we need more aging farmers to consider where their land is going and what their farm is going to become when they pass on. Based on the trajectory of these maps, I don't think foreign interest in American farmland is going to die down anytime soon. I actually think it's going to keep increasing exponentially, especially as our politicians sell over the promise, the future of our American farmland and conserved land to meet their green energy renewable campaign objectives. As I always say, you can't count on the politicians to do right by you, but we can absolutely do something as American citizens. So I hope I've presented some solutions in this video. If you like what I'm talking about, if you've done any of these solutions, let me know about it below. I would like to hear some feel-good stories about people standing up for the land in our country that needs people to stand up for it right now, especially the animals and the habitats and the plants on this land that can't speak up for themselves. They need people to speak up now more than ever. What do you think of foreigners coming in and buying American farmland? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Again, let me know below. We can get the discussion rolling here. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I have so much more content coming your way talking about farm loans, the great American land transfer, solar companies, all of it, Amish culture. You can count on me to be talking about it over here on this channel, or as I like to say, screaming about it. And in my case, I screamed about it in a public setting last night. There will be minutes and a record of me standing up for what is right. So I hope you guys know I really do walk the walk. Stay vigilant out there. We have American land to save and steward. Join me. Bye.